Hello, Gordon again, and in this little video, short video, is just show you how to plumb the depth of your swim. And the reason why you plumb the depth of your swim is you want to find out what's going on where you're fishing. So the fish swim around in different depths at different times of the day, and you want to see what you got in front of you. So what you do is you put your hook through this little gadget which is called a plummet. You put your hook through there, pass it all the way through, and this is really important because, believe it or not, people have not done it before and lost their plummet. You hook it into that little bit of cork so it swings on there. Now that's a piece of lead, or it's a bit of tungsten actually, but it's a piece of weight that's just going to take the weight of your float under the water. So when you drop it in the water, that's going to take your float under the water like that. Okay, now the float is on the rig and it's put on with a couple of rubber float rings so you can push it up and down. So I know roughly what the depth of the water is here, so I'm going to put it up there to about that depth, and I'm going to drop it in the water and wait for it to hit the bottom. So it's hit the bottom there. Okay, so now I know that that float is set about a foot or so deeper than the depth of the water. If I put it over here, it's gone right underneath. So now I know that that float is set about 6 inches shallower. So I can see that over there the water is about 4 to 5 foot deep, and there it's only about 3 to 4 foot deep. So I'm going to be fishing and I'm going to decide I want to fish there. That's the spot where I'm going to be putting my bait. That's the spot where I want the fish to be. So I want to get the depth of my rig to be exactly there. So I'm going to drop it in there, and it's gone under the water by about a couple of inches. So I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to push the float up about 3 inches and drop it back in that spot. This is the spot where I want the fish to be, so this is the spot where I'm going to be throwing my maggots or my ground bait. This is where I want to be fishing. And it's just touched the bottom. You see the float's just touched the bottom there, and in fact it's about 4 or 5 inches off the bottom. I'm just going to bring the float down another inch or so. This is really important because ideally you're going to find most of the fish you're going to be catching, you're going to catch near the bottom, and that's because when you throw the bait in, your ground bait, your loose feed, that goes in and that lays on the bottom, so the fish are going to go down and eat on the bottom. So that's where you want your bait to be. So there, that's the depth, the dead depth. So now I pull my rig out and I take the hook out of the plummet, put the plummet safely away in your pocket. So now I know that if that's the bottom of the river or the lake, the hook is just going to be laying on the bottom like that, in amongst your ground bait. And when the fish picks that hook up, as soon as it picks that hook up, it's going to make an indication on your float. So when the float goes on, you see what's going on. If you were fishing too deep and you had all this line laying on the bottom like that, then a fish can come along, pick up the bait and swim around with it as much as it likes, and you'll get no indication on your float. And the worst thing that can happen is the fish might swallow it right down to its belly, and you'll have to start using the disgorger to get the hook out, as if you ever see a bite. Generally what will happen is the fish will chew your maggot and spit the hook out, and you'll come out and you go, oh, I've had a bite and I've missed it. So that's the art of plumbing up. It's something you really need to understand. That's it.